Even though the Freedom from Religion Foundation's primary focus is domestic, it's involved internationally too. Interviewing Laurie Gaylor about a trip that she and FFRF co-president Dan Barker recently undertook to Poland. And why were you there, Laurie? And we got an award. Can you tell us about the award and about the trip?
Well, we were invited by the Kazimierz Wyszyński Foundation, which is Poland's atheist organization, premier organization, to take part in a conference, and they surprised us at the end of the conference with an organizational award for the Freedom from Religion Foundation. It's an annual award that they give to an organization, and so that was very kind. But we took part in panels. They had about, 150 people there, and there were people from about 20 European countries, 2 African, 2 Asian, 2 North American, 2 South American. It was very diverse. And there were many topics covered, from status of women to blasphemy, for example. I was giving a talk on women and religion, and I talked about a Polish woman, Ernestine Rose, who became one of the foremost suffragists and feminists in North America, who's been forgotten in both countries, unfortunately, but we owe her a big debt for what she's done for us. There was also a concert by Dan Barker. There was a concert by Jared Dunn, who's one of our members, who's a Chopin expert, who came in from Paris. And then the pinnacle of the event was the reenactment of the brutal execution of an atheist in the 17th century. And it's the atheist that the Polish Atheist Foundation is named for, Kazimierz Wyszyński. And he was a nobleman who wrote a treatise on atheism. He had angered some of the Catholics when he was a justice of the peace, I guess. He had angered a neighbor who owed him money, and the neighbor turned him in because he knew about the treatise. And they put him on trial, they excommunicated him, and then they had a public execution, and it was very brutal. They said, we're going to cut off the hands that have written blasphemy, we're going to pull out the tongue that has spoken blasphemy, we're going to cut off the head that has thought blasphemy. And Kazimierz is not remembered today by most Poles, and the organization wants very much to revere him in some way, at least get a street name for him. But Nina Sankari, who's the Polish organizer of this event, is hoping to do a tribunal about blasphemy and other martyrs of atheism. That was very interesting, and they had people dressed in the era, and they reenacted it, and then they invited some of us, if we wanted to put on Handmaid's Tale garb. So I was one of about 6 women who did that, so that was very different. And we also were thrilled to see balloons that were inscribed in Polish with the name Freedom from Religion Foundation. So all in all, it was like a intensive 3-day event, but with this march in the middle that we went from one historic square to another, and there were a lot of bystanders who saw it. So hopefully they were educated. Well,
I was pleasantly surprised to know that there's an active atheist organization in heavily Catholic Poland with a very Catholic government. And so I'm glad that the conference was held, and that, as I said in my radio show, we planted the flag of free thought without any pushback or incident in a very religious and a very Catholic country.
Yes, and they are also very feminist-oriented because abortion is illegal in Poland, and it causes great hardship. And the government, which is semi-fascist, is trying to take away a lot of civil liberties. So they're a very brave and courageous group, and so far have been unmolested by the government of Poland. And there's also a great deal of interest now in exposing the crimes of the Catholic Church, especially the pedophilia crimes in Poland. So it was a really good conference, a good chance to meet with brave atheists and non-believers from many, many countries, some of them having much worse problems than we're having in the United States today, but we're all working for the same free thought, unfettered free thought, and secular government.